Here at KSMO Radio, and you heard from that music right there. That means it's time for Presiding Commissioner Darrell Skiles and I to sit down, talk about different things happening in our county. And Darrell's got a lot to report on today as it was training. You haven't had training in session for what? This is the first time in 3 years?
No.
2 years?
We weren't able to have live county commissioners training last year. It was done
just the
by
one
CDs. So we ended up skipping last year as far as live.
Okay.
So we done it via CDs and online. But yeah, so we were back. County commissioners had training, not this week, but we had it all last week.
But when you had a chance to actually have it in live person, you get to see vendors, you get to talk amongst yourselves, you get to get educated the right way.
Right. Yep. We're going to visit about county stuff, commission training, and all kinds of things. Good to be here, Stan. Kind of cool this morning, isn't it? Cool morning in the Ozarks.
It was windier last night. And it was, and that was a wow. I was thinking, man, 60 degrees a day ago.
Yeah.
It was 55 the night before at midnight, and I was out, and I thought, well, what a nice night. And even though it was raining a little bit, it wasn't bad.
Nothing like Missouri.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Wearing flip-flops and snow boots all in the same day. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah, if you don't have tough skin, worth saying in Missouri, you just aren't tough.
That's right. If you ain't tough, you better not live here. Yeah. No.
Very good.
I would not want to live anywhere else. But
we want to welcome Darrell in, and of course, Darrell's flying solo today, and he's got a lot to talk about. So we're not going to impede his progress. Let's go ahead. Since we already brought up the training, why don't you kick off with that?
Well, we've talked about this usually every year. By statute, county commissioners are required to receive 20 hours a year of training. And that training is organized and put on by the County Commissioners Association of Missouri. That's one of its duties and responsibilities that we take on. I served as president of the County Commissioners Association most of this past year. My term was up in November at our annual meeting at the MAC conference. But at any rate, so we do our annual training every year. And we spend a lot of time planning that, trying to get, because you're trying to put training together that would be of interest to everybody, commissioners that have been there 10, 16, 30 years. Mm-hmm. We had commissioners at this training that have been in office and been county presiding commissioners or been commissioners for over 30 years. Randy Verkamp, Rolla, presiding commissioner Randy Verkamp, Phelps County commissioner, this will be his 34th year as commissioner over at Rolla. So, but he is retiring, and so anyway, so it's interesting. We got Herman Kelly down at Shannon County. Herman has been a county commissioner for 34 years this year. Yep. So so we try to plan training that would be of interest to those people who've been commissioners for a long time, and as well as the new commissioners serving in their first year or two.
Sure, you can always learn something new, right?
Well, and you know what? We fall back on some of those commissioners who've been in office a long time to actually work with us and help provide some of the training and experience. There's nothing like learning from those who have already been through the fire as to what you want to do or maybe what you don't want to do as well. So there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat,
right?
And so
I can't wait for your training in a couple
of years.
No
offense to cat lovers now, but
on the Missouri Department of Revenue.
Yeah, well, that's the deal. Yeah,
that training session, that'll be interesting to hear.
So anyway, so this past week we are required by statute to receive 20 hours a year of training, and at the end of it, you have to sign in every day. Our commission training began actually on Wednesday. I had to be up in Columbia. It was held in Columbia at the Executive Center Hotel. I had to be up there actually Tuesday evening to finish up work with the Commission Association Board on our training and who was going to be doing what and what parts of it and putting the final finishing touches on it. But at any rate, the training starts on Wednesday afternoon. Every commissioner has to sign in on that day. The following day on Thursday, every commissioner has to sign in between 11 a.m. and 1 o'clock that day. And then you have to be there then Friday morning to receive your certificates at the end of about 10:30. On Friday.
And if you don't get your training, there is a penalty, isn't
Yes, it's $2,000 a year that the treasurers and county clerks, they're notified by the Commission Association, given the names of those commissioners who have not completed the training. And so by statute, you forfeit $2,000 a year salary. So that's a pretty good carrot that or stick,
I'd rather
if
have
you
my
will.
money.
Yeah, to go up. But it's good training. I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, there is so much you can learn, and things change all the time. Every year, there's a lot. There's a lot to do. We included in our training, we bring speakers in, and we bring people in from the state, different things. This year, we had excuse me, we had the Missouri Department of Conservation to come in and update us on what's going on in some of the things they do in working with counties. You have payment in lieu of taxes. You have assistance they provide for county roads and things.
Probably an update on feral hogs now.
Yes, the feral hog
working
situation.
With the extension out a little bit. So
Right. Yep, that deal. We have MoDOT comes in and does the LPA training that's required for anybody that's doing an off-system bridge. Using federal funds that comes through MoDOT, you have to have LPA training. That's, I think, about 5 hours. There was 2 hours of it provided on Wednesday and another 3 hours then on Thursday. Wow. We have regional workforce development meetings. We have meetings to discuss the county salary commissions. We had meetings, breakout meetings on broadband development across the state. We had legislative updates. We had Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe came and visited with us Thursday afternoon about what's going on, some of the things that he's been working on the state level and working with counties. And then on Friday, it was my pleasure, as I was past president of our association. The president of our association actually had to fly out Friday morning to a National Association of Counties legislative conference. So I handled all the festivities, you might say, or handled all the duties on Friday morning of everything. And it was my pleasure to introduce Governor Mike Parson, and he came down. So it's a pretty nice honor for our association to get both Lieutenant Governor and Governor to come and speak to us about what's going on in their perspective deals. So, so anyway, it's a good conference. We also have all the various vendors, equipment manufacturers, and suppliers, service providers, and things. They come. They sponsor different meetings. They sponsor hospitality rooms in one whole level of the hotel on Wednesday night. We have one whole level basically is hospitality suites where that's where we eat supper. Actually, they'll have some food, and you can go in and you can visit with them finally one-on-one about some of the different product services that they provide, and it gives them a chance to see all the commissioners. You got a little over 300 commissioners in attendance, and so they're what really makes it work, help pay the bills and for that. So,
Darrell, I would have to assume, because of the way things are right now, and the difficulty in getting some product, as far as maybe even ordering greater blades or new equipment and things of that nature. And I know sometimes there's back orders, and you're just waiting on a computer chip to send that thing out the door. In-person verification of that is just so important. I think you can hear it on the phone or through emails all you want. You think somebody's ducking you, but when you actually get a sales rep or maybe even a corporate officer that might be there from, say, Caterpillar or whatever, where they actually sit there and say, here's exactly what we're going through. And they can outline it in great detail to where now you understand a little bit better what they're going through to try and accommodate you.
Yes. Well, and they'll have not just their sales rep, they'll also have their service people there, service techs. They'll have their IT people even there. So you really get a chance to have one-on-one input with all the various facets, and they get a better chance to learn what it is you need and when, and you get an idea of if you're going to be buying something, what the time frame is and when you need to get it done, and what they're looking at and what you can expect. So
the costs are not anywhere what they used to be.
No. The cost of everything has gone up exponentially over the last few years. So
but that one-on-one, I think we've talked about it. I think some of the commissioners even mentioned it before. The losing that in the last couple of years. Virtual is one thing, but you're missing out on that, and you get so much more from some of those vendors because they can relate to maybe something in another county, and while they're there and that commissioner's there, they can say, hey, we experienced that over in Polk County. Why don't you go over and talk to that commissioner? He's right over there and see how they handle the problem, and then get back to us and see if we can help you out. That's a key ingredient to getting a lot of things accomplished, isn't it, Darrell?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. It just streamlines, you might as well say, the whole process, and it's just so much better than trying to do. I mean, virtual's one thing, Zoom meetings and all this stuff, but it's the one-on-one and being able to see, and then as you ask questions and then being able to grab the person that has a better answer right then, it's just so much better than, everybody's happy to get back to the live business and taking care of it. So yeah, it was good to get done. We had to update on ARPA funding because that is a constantly evolving thing. What Treasury's coming up with on things. So Travis Elliott, the attorney, he's our attorney that we use for different things, but he's the Missouri Association of Counties attorney who's been studying in depth his whole firm to try to give the best, most accurate information they can to counties on what can or can't be done with that. So, and then as you said, of course, he's also our attorney working on the Department of Revenue problem situation.
That's like a moving target, isn't it? When you're talking about the ARPA funds, because
yeah,
they release the money to you, but say, okay, now you've got it, but you can't touch it. You really,
yeah, directions.
We're going to send you more, but you can't touch that either. We haven't determined how you can use it yet.
Guidance has been fairly vague. It's getting clearer and getting clearer. And in the end, now they finally come up with it appears, and we're going to have a better discussion on this. And this attorney, Mr. Elliott, Travis Elliott's also working with Regional Planning Commission to help advise all of our counties and MRPC as to what the guidance is that they see and coming out. So there'll be another, I think we'll probably have him up here for a meeting with regional planning, or if not live, we'll probably have him on a Zoom deal where everybody can be live, at least talking to him and ask questions. But there's some new guidance that has come out to where they've really loosened it up to where up to 10 million or so, they've loosened it up for the counties and entities to basically use it for whatever governmental services, with some caveats. And finding out for sure those caveats now is the challenge, and making sure you square that. But you can use it for general services, use it for lost revenue, so on. So in our situation, because of the Department of Revenue problem that Department of Revenue created, then we're going to probably end up using a good chunk of it to replace that lost revenue. And we don't particularly like it, but it's what's going to happen if we could ever get out of Department of Revenue what that final amount is, because we know there's another large chunk that they're tabulating and putting together, and I think here in the next just short period of time, next few months, we will get some resolution on that, and then we can move on with what we're going to do with ARPA altogether.
Well, prior to that happening,
and ARPA meaning America Rescue Plan Act funds. Right. Yep.
Prior to that happening in a previous year's budget, Darrell, and you had noticed, and the commission all agreed to start doing some necessary repair work to our Dane County Courthouse. Of course, as you're getting things ready to go for that in February of 2020, and all of a sudden you got the report that you received no sales tax, and then you find out that this incident happened and just throws everything into a tizzy. Now, if you look at the same thing that you could have gotten a bid on in 2020, it almost may be double the cost.
Many things are,
of what you could have gotten, possibly even done back then. Now, we all know there was COVID going on, but the cost of these materials just keeps going up.
Well, cost of labor.
And they're not going to give you any break on this, but it was their fault. They took that money out of your account.
That's right. That's right. No, we're getting no breaks, it appears, so far that we can tell. But we're still in negotiation, and they do appear to be negotiating with our attorney. That's been really kind of the frustrating thing, is that it seemed like it was impossible for us to get any real, straight, definitive answers about what had happened in this Department of Revenue thing without having to hire outside legal service, which is a real kick in the tail when you got to spend money for legal service to get answers that we should have been able to get without. But that is the nature of what it is. But at least we are getting there, so it's been very worthwhile.
I'd like to ask you, in your opinion, and if you don't want to really answer this one, you don't have to. But in your opinion, since this has happened in Dane County, and I know you have talked to other counties about this, have a lot of other counties now become much more aware of what the Department of Revenue can just do to their county and how they could wipe them out in a swift pen mark?
Yes.
Or has there been some maybe conversations between other counties, Department of Revenue, saying, hey, we need to know, are you going to be doing this to us, or could this happen, or what's going on? Because I think you're kind of setting the ground. You're the ground floor for, I think, a lot of stuff that's going to happen in the future between Department of Revenues and counties.
Well, yes. As as I said, I served over the past year as president of the Commission Association. We have there's regional meetings held, and I went to several of these. I went to the Northeast Commissioners Association meeting, the West Central Commissioners, Southwest Commissioners Association, South Central Commissioners. Some of I didn't make it to Southeast, didn't make it to the Northwest. Those were the two regionals that I wasn't able to get to. Wanted to. You can only do what you can do so much time. But at any rate, all those that I would mention to them who maybe weren't aware of how something like this could happen, I made commissioners aware of what had happened to us in this situation, and as far as we know how and so on, and you know, and the eyes would get wide and they were stunned. And I mean, I had more than one commissioner come up and tell me, my gosh, if this had happened to us, we'd just have to give them the keys to the courthouse because we'd be out of business. You know, you have some counties end the year with in general revenue $200,000 in reserves, and have the state suddenly the first of the year say we're going to suck $1 million out. They're busted. They're done. So yes, it has, and I just wanted to be aware. It's just really.
It may never happen to them.
It's just really, and you know, I brought this question up at a meeting up at Jeff City in the office with Representative Chipman from Crawford County was there, along with Representative Bruce Sassman up in Marys County and those counties up there, Representative Benny Cook, Representative Ron Copeland there. Of course, he's been involved in this, and senator from over in the Bellevue Valley area, and I can't remember her name now, Elaine Gannon, I think it is. But at any rate, and I shared again with them just briefly what had happened to us, and I said, I want you all to tell me what would the state's reaction be if in February the federal government told the state of Missouri, the federal government made a terrible mistake years ago, and sorry, for the next 3 months you're not going to get any of your revenues.
Funding whatsoever.
No sales tax revenue for the next 3 months because of a mistake we made. Sorry. And the silence you hear right now, that's what I got out of those reps and the senator sitting there. They didn't know how to. I said, what would the state's reaction be? They couldn't handle that. I said, but that's the position we got put in. Now, fortunately, we had some reserves and that we could fall back on, amend the budget, and move on, and not be put plumb out of business, and we're not, and we won't be with even with this other deal. That was $1,005,000 they sucked out last year, and they're looking at another $1 million plus now that they're going after, as we understand it, before long. And so, part of the things that I've been emphasizing to our reps and our senators is, first of all, there's got to be something done about this. How long a time period can they just go back and just wipe you out for when it's because of a mistake the state made? The other thing, one of the things is, how come the state doesn't carry some type of liability, errors, and omissions insurance that when they've made a mistake and created a problem of havoc like this, that doesn't cover this? You know, we have errors and omissions. If we clearly make a terrible mistake and it costs, there's liability insurance that we have to carry. You know, school boards have errors, and you know, everybody has, public entities carry errors and omissions liability insurance. And but the other part is that badly needs to happen is they shouldn't just be able to just, without even telling you,
right, no warning,
wipe you out. I don't care who you are, or what you've got in reserves or don't have in reserves. They knew this going way back into the 2020 earlier, that there was a problem and they were going to be addressing it. They never bothered to call. No fun. There needs to be in statute that at least 60 days or 90 days prior to any withholding, they have to advise you of what's happening, what's going on, and you'd have a chance to at least have some input and appeal how this has happened, and see, is there a way you can work this out with the state to spread the payment out over so many years. If they're going to go back 10 years, you know, well, then why isn't there an option there? Then you're going to spread it out over 10 years then. The clawback, if that's what they're going to do. So that's some stuff that needs to be worked on in Jeff City to address what's happened. Not necessarily they can do anything about what they're taking, but at least make sure that this doesn't happen to some.
So as I mentioned, you are kind of laying the groundwork for this to, if it ever happens in the future, anybody else, you're the experimental case right now.
Yeah, and it's happened to other counties, but not quite to the degree that,
No.
from what I can tell, that likes what has happened here. So, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know of every single case around the country.
But
So far, in talking to commissioners, I haven't heard of one that was quite as.
Had it been the county's
like
fault,
this.
that'd have been totally different.
Oh, sure.
If you guys hadn't
Absolutely.
paid in the sales tax,
Right.
and keeping it and doing different things, so
Or
that'd
we-
be totally different. But this is an unknown problem. When you finally did figure it out, or when they finally did tell you there was an issue, They still didn't tell you how much they're going to take. They still don't know how much they're going to take.
No.
And then they arbitrarily decided we're going to take it out right now, without notice, without
Without warning.
justification.
Uh-huh.
You know, that should have been a violation right there of state law, because they now have unfunded you totally of all your sales tax revenue.
Yep.
And they never gave you a reason. That's like stealing.
Yes, sir. From our perspective, it darn sure
man,
is.
But you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. So,
yeah.
you know, I think what
So-
you're going to do is you're going to lay the groundwork for, if this should ever happen in the future, about the communications that have to be
Well-
made. You know, about advance notice. You're going to set some very high standards that are going to have to be possibly even addressed by the legislature to become law sooner or later.
Well, the legislature is going to have to step in and
Yeah.
do some changing of the laws and
Yeah.
put some things in place to
but
require.
they may wait until this is all figured out.
Oh, I
to do
expect so. I
Yeah.
expect so. Yeah, waiting to get the dust settled and figure out then what can be done. Because
Yeah.
you know. So anyway, so yeah, but I've actually had phone calls from legislators, other parts of the state, as they've heard from their reps or as they've heard from their commissioners. As they've heard the story from me in regional meetings, they've called in to get a little more detail about what's happened, and then they've talked to Department of Revenue. And I know Department of Revenue has been hearing from other legislators and things around the state.
You're probably not their favorite person.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it just the situation is what it is. I mean, I don't think Department of Revenue likes this. And I mean, I had a chance to visit with one of them folks up at in November, and I know they don't really like it either. They're trying to wallow through the way just what the statute allows and provides. And I mean, you know, it just is what it is. So there needs to be some adjustment and change in the statute to see these things. Some county doesn't. You know, we had a few years ago, I know a county was holding their breath, hoping their sales tax arrived in December in time for payroll to be made.
Yeah, you told
Now
me
that's
about
how
that.
close. That's
Yeah.
how close they were.
Yeah.
Now you take a county like that, where all of a sudden for 3 months there'd be no sales tax. They'd have to they just have to close the doors, and everybody'd be.
Yeah, if
you know,
I'm
they
not
couldn't-
mistaken,
couldn't-
you told a story of a county to the east of us that finished the year with like $600 in their bank.
There
You
was
know,
one.
that-
There was
to start
one.
out the next year, but I mean, just they had to have a positive balance, but it wasn't much.
Yeah. Yep. So.
Because you know
Yeah.
they don't pay bills in January.
Yeah, yeah. Thank goodness for them. So anyway, so that's it. There's a lot of things go on with the at the commission training. On it's like I say, I left on Tuesday afternoon, and got back Friday afternoon about 1, and I was wore out. It was but it's good. It's good training so far. All the responses we've had, we have surveys that we require them to fill out and get back to us, and we use those surveys then as to figure out what we need to do for future training. So
very good.
anyway, so
You did attend a broadband meeting with Economic Development Director Sally Burbridge and Ray Walden, the commissioners, and also Wave Internet Technologies.
right, we've had most of the other internet service providers have through MRPC some meetings and things. We've in one way or another we've been visiting with them, and Sally did. Set this up to give us a chance to hear from the gentleman, Zach Robinson, who operates Wave Technologies, kind of share with us how his business works, what they do and how they do it, and interest he has in expanding internet service in the whole region. I didn't realize they serve a pretty large region, from all the way up towards Lake of the Ozarks, up towards Freeburg and Bell area. West down towards Lebanon, so on. So it's very interesting, and glad to hear it. And we're just looking at what are all the various internet service providers and options. And as moving forward, I know there's still yet to be decided how it's going to be put out, but millions is going to be coming out from the state and federal funds. Again, some ARPA funds in this for internet service providers to expand and provide better, high quality broadband internet service. So it's an interesting meeting, and again, appreciate Sally setting that meeting up. And we and Sally, of course, was in the commission meeting a while back. She comes in at the first of every month to highlight kind of where she's at and what's going on. Work has begun on the certified site out at the industrial park to get it cleared, and have a site that is ready if an entity would be interested in locating and a company building, at least have a site ready with water, sewer, electric service, and everything ready to put in place and go. First thing you got to do is get it cleared. So they're
Sure,
they're working on that.
yesterday, and
Yeah.
before it didn't help out things.
It probably slowed that down a
Slowed
little,
that down a
but
bit. But that's,
they'll be getting back to that. So
yeah, but they are taking the timber off, and they have till March 31st to remove the timber,
Uh-huh.
and then they still have time to clean it up after that. But to get it all taken care of, but that timber has to be off by
right,
the 31st.
has to be down and off
Yeah.
by then to satisfy concerns about various endangered bats and other critters and things. So, yep, they're
Probably
working,
the
they're
one-eyed
working on that.
snail that crawls through there once every 50 years.
Yeah, something. Yeah, who
Disrupt
knows?
that. But yeah, there
So
is some
anyway.
different things. Very good. So one thing that you had, and this is obviously not from our reports, though, is last night. Did you have your meeting last night at MRPC?
Actually, all MRPC meetings last night were postponed. We'll do the Transportation Advisory Committee at our March meeting. I'm not sure. I believe it may be March 10th or something like that. Anyway, everything was postponed last night.
I wasn't sure about
wasn't
that.
too. Actually, our travel conditions here didn't really
bad.
get all that bad. But for those counties on North Marys County, Osage, Gasconade, and some of them, and even up in the Phelps County parts of Phelps County, it wasn't good.
Yeah, if you look at the crash reports for how many
yeah.
people just slid and
Yeah.
slid and slid.
Yeah.
People trying to stop slid right into it.
Yeah. I found out later yesterday morning that message had gone out then that they were going to go ahead and cancel. So we'll reschedule on that and get back. The Transportation Advisory Committee is the big one we need to have because we're still working on different ideas and things. And as MoDOT gets ready to do their summer work and scheduling, why these meetings are important to hear and work with them on plans. So,
But
anyway,
the MRPC will be having a meeting of type with the mitigation plan next Tuesday.
we do have this coming Tuesday a FEMA hazard mitigation plan update meeting. We have to it has to be redone every, I think, 4 or 5 years. So it's time now to redo that plan. And so the works are in place, and that will be next Tuesday at 1:00 at the community center at the Armory.
And it is good to see a couple of schools trying to access those funds, and they are putting in their applications, and none of them have been approved yet to get it. And of course, a lot of that comes from funding that actually comes through your county. We haven't had too many, knock on wood,
Right.
big events. That I think the last one might have been a derecho that one came through. That we had that. And I know about a year before that we had a Mother's Day flood, and the derecho comes in on Mother's Day weekend. It's just watch out for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Don't mess with Mother.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what. But those dollars that come from the feds, and they help set funds aside for mitigation plan.
Right.
And then county didn't have one at that time.
Right.
So
And I'll be honest, the hazard mitigation plan in and of itself doesn't really hardly do squat. I mean, to be honest, that's
Right.
just the way it is. But you cannot access FEMA hazard mitigation funds to build a tornado shelter if the county doesn't have a hazard mitigation plan. I've never really quite understood the rationale of that deal. But that's okay. It doesn't matter at this point. And I mean, and it'll cost us. I can't remember exactly,
5
but
to
it's
10,000, something like
it's somewhere actually around between 3,000 and 5,000. I think is what it comes out to. It costs the county
thought that
to
price might have
get
gone up.
everything done here to get an updated hazard mitigation plan in place. But it does then allow, because if they go to apply for one of the first boxes that has to be checked is does your county have an updated and enforced hazard mitigation plan, and if they don't, then there's no use completing the rest of the application. So when some schools indicated that they were seriously interested in applying and getting those funds, then we did go ahead and get the process going to get a plan in place and get that done. So
that meeting will be held where, Darrell?
it will be held at the community center at the Armory at 1:00 on Tuesday.
And that's open to the public.
It is. It's open to the public. For the most part, it'll be pretty dry and boring to most of the public, but you're more than welcome to come. But we do need the schools and those entities that would be interested and have a role in. The city will be there, county will be there, we'll be there, and Merrimack Regional Planning Commission staff does handle administration of this and pulling this thing together. And they do this for all the counties in the MRPC region. It's part of the contract.
But in their release,
Yeah.
they say they want public input. So the only way to get public input is to have them there. And I think once they get maybe a portion of the plan done, I think they want to release that to the public so they can actually give their feedback on it. So 1:00 Tuesday, Salem Community Center at the Armory. I'm assuming it's going to be in the big room, or is it going to be in the Rotary room?
Actually, I'm not 100% certain on that. But if you come in there, somebody will guide you to the right spot.
There you go.
Yep.
All right. So very good on that. All right. So, well, obviously, road crews have been out and about doing some
Yes,
different
sir.
things. Culverts. I've had some. Obviously, with the rains we had, Wednesday into Thursday, we all know that there was flooding and a lot of people got
Never did hear exactly how much rain, but I know I know we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 inches.
2 to 4 inches in that county.
I
So
thought
it depends
probably
on where you are.
I figured probably out my way, and I'm out west of town, somewhere between 3 and 4. So yeah, had a lot of flooding. And when you have that and you haven't had much rain at all, and we've really been pretty dry. We haven't had any real getting the creeks up large, flushing all the stuff out and down.
We were down in December. We were down in January.
So a lot of leaves, a lot of stuff out there down that hadn't been washed out of the little draws and things. So the crews were out trying to get culverts unstopped and things. We had a situation in the subdivision where some folks were unhappy because the water was running over the road, running on the nail. That turned into an interesting deal. Commissioner Mowbray went out to check that situation out. Finally ended up having to have the sheriff's office come out and bring a shotgun, and they actually blasted back through the culvert with the shotgun and blew out 2 basketballs that were in the culvert, had it completely stopped
why
up.
the water's going over it?
Yep. And these were driveway culverts that people had in, and this stuff, they've been finding lots of trash and different things being stuffed in the culverts, and the county can't be responsible for keeping everybody's driveway culvert open.
No.
And, I mean, if you got a driveway culvert, do what you can to keep the junk out of it and keep stuff. So,
but as well as I do, Darrell, we had all these winds. 3 days before? I mean, we had 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Little branches come down. The leaves are blowing all over the place. And the next thing you know, and it may not be that you had your culvert full at all. Maybe you had it crystal clear 2 weeks before that. But then these winds blow everything down. And as I was made mention of going out 19, I was watching the little creek going through there at the roadside park. It was backing up all because of a few branches that get in there, and everything just starts piling up behind it. It becomes a media dam.
Sure, creates a dam.
Boom! Every bit of walls of water. There we go. Start rolling over different roads and different things. There's no way to stop that until that gives way or gets blown out with a shotgun. It's not going to clear out, and then the guy's got to get down there, but they have to wait for the water to go down.
Yep.
And the only way it's going to go is go over the road.
Yep. From time to time, when you get a big rain like that and you get all that much stuff washed down and material clogging up pipes, culverts underneath even the bridges, whatever, it creates real issues. So that's what we dealt with. But the crews were out. Yeah. They were busy, shoveling off around the ends of pipes to open them up and stuff, and we can put a brand new culvert in under a road to get water under a road and gone, but you take a whole bunch of debris, come down and clog up over the end of that, and next thing you know, the water's running over the road and you got a road nearly washed out, even though you had a brand new culvert there. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand, and it just happens. That's just what you have to deal with the water situations.
Years ago, Darrell, and it wasn't in our county, I haven't seen too many, but in other counties where MoDOT was trying out these new culvert fronts, and they put the culvert little strips of metal across the culverts, and they slanted them down deep and long so the water could get in freely and move around. But because it's a hazard for a tire to get in there if a vehicle should go off the road, they had to put in 3 metal strips on those concrete culvert surroundings so that they wouldn't pinch the ends of the culvert. Problem is, not a problem with the tires, but everything else that builds up around that, then they back up, and then it goes right over the road anyway. So all the great work that they did, and it looks nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't help the water situation.
Sometimes solving one problem creates another.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So a lot of that going on, and again, if you do see it, because right now the ground is extremely soft, if the winds should pick up, and they are talking about it being picked up again, if you do have a tree come down, and Darrell's talked about this in the past, and the commissioners have as well, please contact the Road and Bridge Department. Let them know.
Call the Road and Bridge Department, leave a message,
call the sheriff's office.
Call the sheriff's office, and they'll let the appropriate representatives of the Road and Bridge District know, and they'll get out there and get to work on those. Yep, do it all the time. But otherwise, the crews, before we had the snow, we had a good bit of 7-8 inches of snow a couple of weeks ago, and the crews were out working on that, constantly trying to get that cleared and spreading sand and salt mix on the various roads and things. So it's been quite a challenge the last couple of weeks. But we got along good through January, and at some point it always catches up.
Been a busy
always
time.
Averages out, right?
Yeah. Well, the county clerk is getting ready for
before we do, I want to mention a couple of road closures that we'll be having hearings on.
Okay.
Commissioner Larson has two roads, and what they are, there's two different roads that basically just go up into some private property. They really don't serve any purpose as far as for the public much at all. And so there is a procedure for closing and abandoning a road, and where the person who would like to see it done gets signatures of X number of people within the township. Do that. We post notice of that, and then we have a hearing. And if there's no compelling reason why it needs to stay as a public road, well, then we can close that. So we do have 2 road closures. One of those is on County Road 3283. It's about a quarter of a mile, and it's on Highway 19 north of Salem. And again, it's one of these short roads that just goes into some private property. And then another one is County Road 2053 out in the Annette area, and it's another one that kind of been abandoned for years and just kind of loops over into some private property and doesn't serve any purpose really of anybody. So there will be a public hearing for 10 a.m. March 3rd for both of those. So I did want to mention that and get that done. So anyway.
So, and one of the things, Darrell, we want to remind people is don't take it upon yourself. Even if you have a county road that just goes back into your property and you say, well, it's just my property anyway, I'm going to put a gate up here. Well,
no, that don't work.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to do that. You need
Come
to
in and visit with us, and we'll.
Yeah, need to go through the proper steps to get it abandoned. If it's totally on your property and there's no other property that affects or serves, they will go through the proper to take the proper procedures to walk through and abandon that road. And then you can put your gate up once it's abandoned. But until that time, you're blocking a county road.
Right. There is a procedure in place. There has to be a petition signed by a certain number of residents in that township requesting it, and then we'd have to post notice of that, and then actually have a hearing to allow the public to express sentiment. Anybody, yay, nay, and what the deal is, and then the commission makes that decision.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have had, not personally, not in the last few weeks, but previous to this, there are some people that are interested in putting in subdivisions and want to know about how a road would become a county road. Now, before you go in there and start designing everything for your road and your county road, go in there and see what the minimum requirements are for the county to take that road over. There are requirements that do have to be met. It's just not throwing gravel out on the grass and spraying a little weed killer and saying, okay, it's ready.
No, that won't do it.
Yeah.
No, a
requirements.
road has to be constructed to certain minimum specifications as far as the grading, the ditch work, rock base under, and then rock on top. So please come in and visit with the commission and get those specs about how that would have to be done before the county then will take it over and maintain it then from then on. Yeah,
and one of the
certain
questions,
minimum specs. Yes.
I'm sorry. And one of the questions they had for me was the easement of that road, and I said, well, if you're the property owner and you set that road up and you follow the instructions, then you need to create the easement there, and the county would then that would be absorbed on the county road. But you need to set an easement. There does have to be an easement for the road.
Right. Come in and visit with us, and we'll get with the prosecuting attorney who serves as our chief legal advisor and get it done right from the front end. Yeah.
And don't do it after the fact.
Yeah. No.
Too late.
That don't work.
In many cases, way too late. All right. Very good.
So anyway,
go ahead. You got something else? Looked like you had something to say.
Well, I was just going to mention, we were talking about Department of Revenue a little bit ago. We did have our sales tax revenue came in for February, and come in and it looks very good. Obviously, we can't compare it to last year because last year's was zero.
So you did good.
Up massively from a year ago. So at any rate, but sales tax revenue looks very good so far. If we go back and go back to previous 21, compare years past, and it's looking good. So I did want to just mention that has come in and is looking real good. So I was glad to see that.
The hardest thing is, though, we're watching the prices of everything go up, and that's adding to the sales tax, dollar figures coming in. But when you budget, you budget off certain numbers that you've had in the past, and now these prices are coming in. Darrell, we all know. I mean, we know the price of grader blades is going to go up. Price of asphalt's going to go way up. I mean, oil prices are going out of sight. I don't even want to know what chip and seal is going to cost this year.
Yeah, but we're going to find out pretty soon.
Yeah, but I mean, you understand, if the price of oil is going to be over $100 again, it's going to be very expensive.
Yeah, and we'll just have to see how that works out budget-wise.
So it doesn't. So kind of the offsetting of the sales tax increases that we would see probably over a previous year, they get a little bit offset with the increase in cost of supplies.
Yeah. I don't think our. I mean, we know, sales tax is going to be better than it was probably the year before, but I don't think it's going to keep up with what the increase of costs are, as everybody's seeing in their own homes and businesses and so on. So we're cognizant of that.
Well, when you start trying to jack around a minimum wage and put it to $15, Darrell, that's.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not against people getting paid what they're worth, but when you arbitrarily set a dollar figure like that, you are adding almost 60% of a tax increase for FICA and Social Security under that, and that has to be picked up by the employer. They got to pass that on somewhere.
Yep.
And that means your price of your stuff's just going to go higher and higher and higher. It
Yep.
doesn't make a lot of sense to keep the minimum wage higher, because your buying power of your dollar gets decreased every time you increase that by 50 cents. Your buying power is lost by a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That gets scary.
Yeah.
It really is.
Trickles through everything.
No, it sure does. I want to talk a little bit about Dane County Clerk Angie Curley. First off, she is looking for poll workers, and we're getting close to election time. If you would like to be a poll worker, or you'd be interested in finding out about being a poll worker, please call her office.
Yes, please do. 729-4144, and always looking for people that would be interested in helping work the polls. And we really appreciate all those that do that. But, from time to time, people move or circumstances happen that they can't, and we always need some ready and available as backup. Mm-hmm. It's not real difficult, and you're always working with people that have done it before and can help. And it is a fairly long day if you end up doing it, because they start early, and then there will be a day of training with the thing beforehand. But yes, please do call County Clerk Angie Curley, 729-4144. Let her office know that you're interested, and if she can't talk to you right then, she will get back to you, I promise. And be glad to have the help. Yeah.
I'm sure she'd be dying to get some extra
help.
Have
to mention also, she has a I voted sticker contest. When you vote, you get a little sticker that says I voted. So Angie put a little contest together to see about maybe coming up with a custom sticker that would more represent Dent County.
Right.
So I put it out to the high school art classes, and they had several.
We had 8.
Have several submittals, and they've narrowed it down to 4. So you can go to the county clerk's office now, see the 4 that are on the wall to vote on, and I think that's through this coming Wednesday, the 23rd. When you can vote for what will be the sticker for I voted in Dent County.
So get out there and vote.
Pretty cool.
One vote per person.
One vote per person, yeah.
Just like normal.
Just like regular.
Just like regular. So one vote per person on that. Also, Angie did report that she and the treasurer balanced in all accounts, and that the collector and the assessor on all the abatements, add-ons, and everything else, they all balance. And that's one thing I have to say our county has been extremely good at for a number of years.
Yes, the auditors are always glad to see, and they have. There's never a problem there. For some reason it isn't, they get in and they find it and get it straightened out until it is balanced. So, they look at that, and then we go through, review those, sign off on those, and they're balanced.
But guess what next week is, Darrell?
Filing.
Filing
for county offices begins next Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock, in the county clerk's office. Yep.
First come, first serve.
First come, first serve.
That's what Angie said. So you can line up outside. When they open the door, you can come in and you can get it done. And it's also for state offices as well. Not only the county, but
the state offices, I think they file in Jeff City, the state rep and senator.
Well, not all of the offices do. I think some do in the county. You're like your state reps. I don't think they do. Some. Anyway, but she said
I know all county, all the filings all start Tuesday, the 22nd. But the county offices, I think, file here in the county. I'm pretty sure the reps and them have to file at Jeff City, but I'll let you follow up on that and chase that down.
She said state. I'm just going by what she said.
But anyway, and then also on the same day, absentee voting for the April 5th election begins.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, everything's all at once.
So you can come in, you can file for a county office and vote absentee.
There you go. For the April election.
For the April election.
This filing would be for
not for your August primary.
Right. This filing that begins Tuesday would be for the August primary.
That's a little bit early.
Yep.
Kind of crazy.
So hard to believe that time's come around again.
It is.
Yep.
So the President's Day is coming up Monday. So normally we'd have a commissioner meeting, but we won't have one.
Courthouse will be closed on Monday. We will be the commission will meet on Thursday. We are now back to meeting every Monday and Thursday, exclusive of holidays,
or training,
or complications. But anyway, So
very good.
Anyway, and I think that kind of catches us.
I don't have much anything else.
Kind of got us caught up, Stan.
Yes, sir. There was one other thing I was going to talk about, but I don't see it. Oh, but if it's there.
Sounds like things are going to warm up and
I
for
know
a nice
it was.
weekend.
Then County Collector Shannon Van Kirk brought in her collection report that she provides to the commission as well for the month of January.
Yes.
She does it every month.
Yep, keeps us advised every month.
You know, and if you ever want to know how those tax dollars are distributed, she can provide that for you.
Yes. Yep. It goes out. She gets that money dispersed to all the schools and various entities in the county that
We had
get
that
those.
in your will of the day for last calendar year. Now, the thing is with the Dent County Collector, their year for their accounting actually ends February 28th and starts March 1st. So they're a little bit different calendar than everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
those
and now we are right on top of.
One more thing.
Okay.
I want to remind everybody about the assessor. You have to get your assessment list in.
Get
by
your
March
assessment
1st,
list in. Yes.
Even though it hasn't been brought up in a meeting. And if you don't, there is penalties for getting your lists in late.
And
you can
that is by
file
statute.
online.
That is by statute as well.
Right.
Yep.
And you can file online.
Yep. Or you can come in and they'll help you with it.
Sure.
But yeah, be sure and get those assessment lists in.
Right. You can mail them in. You can drop them off at the nice little collection box outside in the southwest corner of the courthouse yard out there. You can drop it off there, or you can just walk by the assessor's office. She has a little box there as well. You can just drop it there.
Drop it in, or as you say, online. A
Or
lot
online.
of them being done online this year.
And if you have questions, call Jamie down there or her staff, and they'll take care of it.
Yep. Yep.
And let them know. And if you haven't gotten an assessment form, and you should have, again, this falls back on you.
Yep. If you need one, get one.
get one.
Go online. Go by the office. Get it. What have you?
Yeah, it's hard to go online and get it because you need the address that's actually on the form that they send you. So
I've not done
and
it
there's a
online.
number,
I
yeah,
get it. I
and
take
there's a
fill it
number
out,
there
take it
on
by.
that form. But if you need that form, go on by the collector's office and get it. And while you're there, vote on that. I voted thing. That's pretty cool. The stickers. There's some excellent, and I wanted to point that out. There's some
They were
excellent
all good.
art students we have at Salem,
Uh-huh.
and even in the surrounding districts, all four of our
And
rural
you're-
districts. There is some very talented kids out
Oh,
there
yes.
that are very, very
Absolutely.
artistic. Man.
Yep. Pretty neat.
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing how people can. I don't know where they get the ideas,
Yeah.
and then how to put it on paper from something that
Yeah.
they see in their head. Amazing, just made me. We
You-
want to thank Darrell for coming in. No, we always appreciate him. I'm glad the weather was clear enough for him to make it in this morning. He had to probably put his long johns on to get out and not to a little cold this morning.
Well, they generally go on this time of year anyway. So
But nonetheless.
Yeah.
But we do thank Darrell for coming in. This program is not a free program. It is paid for by Darrell. No tax dollars, no county dollars. The only dollars that come out of his pocket is Darrell's pocket.
Yep.
That is.
yep, my checkbook.
And we do appreciate that. And he wants to
The
make
next
sure.
time we meet, though,
You got your
next
fishing
time
pole?
we meet will be after the unofficial first day of spring. So, first day, March the 1st, is the opening of trout season at Montauk.
So I see you come in
All
your
the trout
waders and
parks.
stuff. You just be getting
I
done.
might do it. Yep. So, for many of us, the opening of trout season is kind of the unofficial first day of spring, and it really gets our tourist season really kicked off. And look forward to that.
I did want to point out another thing that also kicks off our official spring is our road rally. And unfortunately, people in Crawford County, we've seen some bad press on this, maybe not bad press is not the word, but uninformed press that has come out wrong. Dent County is having the 100-acre road rally.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Crawford County has elected not to do that this year.
Yep.
Okay. It doesn't mean that the rally is canceled. It just means that leg of it through that area to Steelville and Potosi is not being done.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so I talked to somebody the other day, and they told me, no, it's canceled.
No, it's not. 100-acre rally's on. We'll be here just like it's always been.
That will be, I believe, St. Patty's Day weekend again.
Uh-huh.
So be looking for that, and it's probably
Somewhere around March 18th and 19th.
Yep, somewhere in there.
And I think we are planning on having the park expose up on 4th Street,
Exactly.
as had been in the past.
Like the old days. You
Yep.
get out there and get a chance to see those cars up close, talk to the drivers, and
Look for a large, pretty large turnout of of rally participants this year too. So yeah,
I haven't checked yet, but they're usually sold out by end of
yeah.
February.
Not sure what happened. There was some I think some communication issues or something happened there on the with the Crawford County leg. So, but at any rate, we're glad they're back on. And this place, we got the opening of trout season March 1st, and then when the rally's in town, that's everything's really hopping and busy that whole week because they bring large crews in, and you got 70 or 80 drivers and their teams and their crews and stuff, and we'll probably have about every motel room full, and their restaurants will be busy. The parts places and tire places are doing a little extra business, and that's what it's all about.
They're open late. And remember when it was the same weekend?
Yeah, that was
that
was almost a stretch trying to do trout season opening in that same week.
Should have had the rally run through Montauk.
Yeah,
that would have been.
No, we're not going there, Stan. No.
Well, they can't race on the highway. They can only race on the gravel roads. But
right, and it is timed. When people here that aren't aware, it is a timed event for just sections, and one. It's not side by side cars. It is one car at a time, and it's very controlled and very organized and controlled.
But just think of the attention those cars would get going through Montauk.
Stan, we're not going there, Stan.
I'm thinking this really just big turnout. And
yeah.
You're going to grab their attention. They're there anyway. Of course, they might be watching their line a little bit more attentively.
I got a feeling DNR would have something to say about this whole plan. Yeah.
And nobody listens to them anyway.
Yeah.
But
but by the way, though, we are seriously looking at trying to get some extra funding for through DNR, from the legislature through DNR, as we've talked about before, to help maybe get some big improvements down at Montauk and help things. Because Montauk's a huge draw. We appreciate it. Love Montauk State Park, and needs some updating, needs some money spent on it.
It really does.
So
really does.
For a change, some of the millions they've been sending down to Echo Bluff, we'd like to see some of those millions go down to Montauk.
Well, they've got a big commitment. Was it $5.4 million at Current River State Park this year to redo the old Alton resort out there?
Yeah.
The Alton Box Company's resort, and the new kitchen, there's the rooms, and there's a common area. If you ever get a chance to, before they do all that and tear it all apart, go look in the commons area. I mean, it's like taking a trip back to 1955.
Interesting area.
Yeah, if you liked I Love Lucy and like that kind of furniture and stuff, you can look through the windows and there it is. Yeah. It has not moved.
Yep, it's like
all the time. It is really cool.
Going back in time. Yeah.
Really
but anyway, we'll be back here March the 4th. I think is what it is on Friday. So I do appreciate the opportunity, Stan. I hope everybody listening may have learned something they didn't know, but we'll be back in a couple of weeks. And until then, I do hope everyone will be safe, happy, healthy, and God bless each and every one of you.